And welcome back to Proline. Jim Feist and myself, Dave Koch, and we're going to look at some storylines taking shape for AFC teams during the preseason. Before we get to that, it's time to tell you about what we've got going as far as personal service plays are concerned. 4 weeks of the NFL preseason. I won't be doing the Hall of Fame game, so I don't even count that. So it's not 4 weeks plus the NFL plus the Hall of Fame game. I'm out of that one. 4 weeks of the NFL preseason, $39. And I'm going to include a week of baseball, which has been really good lately. And so's the CFL, by the way. So if I've got anything in the CFL, we'll include that. $39, 855-472-2577. Jim, these are pretty extensive numbers. 136 and 89 baseball, including 44 and 16 in the last 60 baseball high rollers. Do you even want the football season to start?
Of course I do,
okay.
But I don't want the baseball season to end. It's been an absolute magical run, but football's been a magical run for a long time for me. I've fattened up bankrolls with baseball, and I'm ready for football as well. Here's a Thursday special to fatten your bankroll. 7 days of plays from me for $49. That includes my high roller going tonight, a $500 value online as a bonus. 7 days, $49. Just call 866-546-9467. My clients who wager $100 a game on baseball plays are up over $4,500 this season. Let me show you what I can do for you. 7 days, multiple plays, just $49. 866-546-9467.
All right, so let's talk about the Patriots, because this is really the most interesting situation going into the preseason and the regular season. Now, in the past, we know Tom Brady is going to be standing on the sidelines, going to have a cap on, and he's not going to be playing at all in the preseason. But this year, things could be a little bit different. Do they play Brady here? Because he's suspended for the first 4 games of the regular season. So, do they put him out there for some extra work in the preseason just to make sure he doesn't have a ton of rust come week 5 of the NFL regular season? I'm going to say no. I don't think things are going to change, Jim, and I think that's going to be one of the fascinating things to watch. But I think it's going to be Garappolo in the preseason. I think they want him to get as many reps as they can. And I'm not locking myself into this, but I'm probably going to be looking to play on the Patriots early in the preseason because I think Garappolo is going to be seeing more action early than most projected number 1 quarterbacks for the regular season.
I agree with the first part of your statement, but I'm not too sure about the second part of your statement. The first part of your statement is I do not feel that they're going to, of course, you can never fully read Bill Belichick because other than the fact we know he likes to win every game he goes out there, even in preseason, he does have a winning record. With Brady normally sitting on the sidelines, this is where I agree with Dave, and the fact that he can't play the first 4 regular season games, it doesn't make sense to put him out there. Just go through the conditioning stuff, go through the training camp, work as hard as he can, and then those 4 weeks that he's off, they'll find ways, I'm sure, to stay in shape, et cetera, et cetera. But this part that I don't agree with Garappolo is if you play him too much in the preseason, what happens if he gets hurt? I mean, now you don't have Brady for those first 4 games, and you're really screwed because now you're going to your third string. I don't even know who the third string is, Dave. Do you?
Oh, yeah, Brissett. The kid out of NC State.
Okay. That's not a lot of pro experience there.
No.
So I don't see them playing Garappolo a lot in the preseason. I mean, they're going to have to play him a little bit. There's no question. Maybe in the setup game, which is week 3, perhaps, and then rest him in week 4. But I don't see him playing him a lot. And Brady's going to sit on the sidelines. All
right, so I'm checking this out. This is Scott Zolik and Mike Flynn discussing, and these are Patriots guys. Zolik, of course, you remember him as a player. Okay, this is what they're talking about as far as Garappolo in the preseason. I don't think you play Brady. Garappolo has to take the first team reps. You have to get Brissett ready and out there. Maybe those dual workouts with the Saints and Bears is where Brady gets a lot of work rather than the games.
Right.
And Brissett doesn't get those reps. Garappolo needs to prepare all week like he's the starter, warm up as the starter, run out to the field as the starter. That's your huddle. for 1, 2, 3, or all 4 quarters, whatever it might be. That's what he needs, the ability to go out there and make the decisions. So
great information.
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And this is why we say, look, we're giving opinions, okay? But if you want good information, make sure and follow. I'm not talking about the off-the-wall websites where it's some guy like myself who's just expressing an opinion. Someone who's connected to the teams, and this is all 32 NFL teams. You can find people like this. They get you information in the preseason that oftentimes is straight from the coach's mouth, and it can put money in your pocket. It's worked for Jim and myself for years. We've made money in the preseason. And for those who say, how can you bet on games that don't count? Because you get information that does count in the preseason.
And you don't get that information in the regular season because everybody's trying to win. But the key part of what Dave is saying, and he didn't say it, but it's there, the odds makers don't know as much when they're putting up the numbers as we do by the time we make the plays.
That's why
that gives you the edge.
You'll get some volatility in those preseason numbers because once the information gets out, people get there quickly. So you got to get ahead of the game, and that you can't wait till Thursday or Friday and then start doing your preseason work. The Jets situation. I think they've got a pretty good football team.
They do. They really do.
And I'm not saying that Ryan Fitzpatrick is an all-pro quarterback, but don't you have to have Fitzpatrick
31
under center
touchdowns
right now?
last year. 31 touchdowns.
Well, they're not going to win anything with the kid from West Virginia, Geno Smith. Come on, he can't play.
That's a joke. He's a backup at best.
Right.
Yeah.
So what do they do here?
This has not been a championship organization for a long, long time, and it starts at the top. Here's a guy that can play football. Here's a guy that knows how to connect with his receivers, knows how to work hard. We all know he's smart. He 31 touchdowns, 14 interceptions last year. That's remarkable. There aren't that many quarterbacks in the league that threw over 30 touchdowns and had less than half in turnovers. Pay the guy. And they were only going to pay him $6 million the second and third year of the contract.
With the way the market is right now, you can't do that.
Osweiler gets $17 million. He's an unproven guy. I like the guy, and I think he has a future. But Fitzpatrick is still young enough to be productive for a couple of years. Pay the guy. If you want to win, pay him.
And speaking of Houston Texans, Osweiler is their new quarterback.
Yep.
We've talked about the fact they've got 2 other guys in camp who are decent players.
Yes.
I think there's pressure on Osweiler here. I mean, he's got to deliver from week 1, or there will be a quarterback controversy. So this might be one of those situations where, they've got to improve the offensive line. I think this is one of those teams that needs to show some cohesiveness, even in I almost said spring training, even in training camp and the exhibition games. They've got to establish that they can protect Osweiler right from the opening.
I think the Texans are a dangerous team this year. I think they have the ingredients. O'Brien, I believe, is a good coach. Inexperienced. I don't like the way he handled the team last year. First game, starting Hoyer and then benching him for the set. That was bonehead Bush League stuff, and I hope we learned from that. If that type of behavior continues with the head coach, he will be gone because that was not right. Now, Hoyer proved he was okay, but when we got to the pressure situation of the playoffs, he really blew up. Now they've changed that whole chemistry there. They've got Osweiler. They paid him big bucks. They've got a solid team, and you got to remember who's in that division. The Colts. Everybody talks about the Colts and all that, but they're not that good. Their offensive line has been absolutely terrible. And Andrew Luck has got murdered, just banged around by the defenses. They have a chance this year to take over that division and win that division and move forward into the playoffs. Osweiler played well for Denver last year. A lot of drops by the receivers, and they benched him. And I don't believe he wanted to go back there in Manning's footsteps. I think he was pissed at being benched, and he wanted to move on. He got big bucks for it. So that's what one team pays $17 million to a guy who's unproven. Another team won't pay half that much to a guy that is proven. I don't get it.
We have free plays every day that you can get. They're easy to get. All you have to do is punch in a few digits on the cell phone, and you're all set.
That's right. You just text the word game to 25827. That's the word game to 25827, and you'll get free plays each and every day right to your cell phone. That's game to 25827.
All right, it's one of the most fun topics to talk about. Not for the guys involved, actually, but for those of us who analyze football and are just fans of the game. NFL coaches on the hot seat and what it means for 2016. We'll do that next, right here on ProLineTV.com.